Minecraft, a fantastic way to get students used to the basic principles of coding and algorithms.
Education and collaboration, we have created a very clear and a visible roadmap, which I'm sharing on the Microsoft EduDay. We have been around the world. We have now more than 60 independent leading private schools in K-12. We are Pakistan's leading and premier teaching and learning provider, where the focus is on holistic education and a lot of effort goes into building community, building a society, and building a better world. And there is no powerful tool other than the digital platforms and the digital access which Microsoft has provided to schools like us. Then moving forward, I generally feel innovation, critical thinking, and knowledge construction. They are the three major denominators if schools they want to do their journey from good to great. Innovation. You need to look at it how you structure the class. Historically, we were told that look, slow and steady wins the race. I disagree. It is the fast and consistent who wins the race. People say that Pakistan and the world is happening. I say the world is not just happening, it is happening. These digital platforms, learning management system, portals, internet, areas for collaboration and knowledge construction, these are critical. Why critical thinking? It is not about when and where. It is about how and why. It is important that we teach by using technology as a tool, as an enabler, which allows our learners to find the solutions to the problems that we are facing together as humanity. People talk about learning management systems. They talk about content and knowledge creation websites. People talk about digital tools for having an online meeting. Microsoft Education has been a game changer to the Roots Millennium Education Group. I take immense pride as the pioneer and the chief executive of my colleagues working across Microsoft communities worldwide and in particular Pakistan. The way they have built up capacity, they have created what you call is visibility as a provider, and they have also did hand holding to help us enable our true potential. Now we have made it mandatory for all our teachers, graduate teachers, budding teachers, seasoned practitioners, professionals. We said if you really want to succeed as part of your human resource regimes, your performance and appraisals and your reflection through pairing, we have said to them, you need to go through the Microsoft journey for innovative education. We have championed that journey and we do take immense pride. The best practices of the Millennium Education as the Microsoft Showcase schools, they are based on three fundamental principles. That curriculum, a modern day reflective with devices, internet, students are encouraged to bring their own devices. We provide locker system, a bagless culture, and there is a Promethean boards, and there's a learning management system, and teachers, students, and parents, they are connected on daily basis. The third aspect is teacher training and professional development, a continuous commitment for the professional development, training, and capacity building. So through these three major verticals, that curriculum for schools, training for teachers, and technology infrastructure for the classrooms, what we call is now we have created our digital circle. Historically, it has been said that education has been a triangle between the parent, between the student, and between the teacher. I disagree. I call today education as a circle. At the heart of this digital circle is the learner. And we as policymakers, stakeholders, education bodies, progressive thinkers, private sector, public sector, development sector, we need to think that at the heart of our learning should be a learner. Now, when we talk about pandemic, we should also not miss out the opportunity of learning losses and learning poverty. So cognitive abilities of the child, the metacognition, muscles, small, large, language, frequency, listening, speaking, argument, critical thinking, the emotional quotient, the social quotient, the intelligence quotient, and now there is a new quotient. It is called DQ, the disruption quotient. How our children are prepared to deal with disruption, this academic disruption through the COVID. It has now given us a new perspective that uncertainty is going to be a way of life. How do we need to make sure that there are no more learning losses and we do not move towards learning poverty? So we need to bring more emotion to the digital transformation. And there I talk about artificial intelligence, AI, machine learning, robotics, and so on and so forth. When in the past we used to use the term digital immigrants, now the millennials today, they are digital natives. They are born into technology. They were not immigrated into technology. So learning the attributes of millennials, responding to in a socially responsible way, I feel with the powerful tool as schools, as institutions, and with partners like Microsoft Education, such stories have transformed the modern day Pakistani millennial citizenry. And I do genuinely feel that Microsoft Education has had a game changing and an enabling impact in the work that we do for the betterment of our country, of our communities, of humanity and society at large. I would like to thank each and every hero. I thank you to Microsoft Education worldwide, my colleagues here in Pakistan, and my fraternity across the country. Thank you very much.
Manager Pakistan, and I warmly welcome you all from whichever region you're joining us from. We have renowned personalities joining us today from organizations with a futuristic vision who are working hand in hand with Microsoft to build a better future for our generations. Please raise your hand as I take your names. Sindh Education Foundation, from there we have Shahpara Rizvi, who's Director Training. Ms. Aisha Kareem, Chief Research, Innovation and IT from Quaid-e-Azam Academy for Educational Development, School Education Department, Government of Punjab. Ms. Sonia Salim, who's the CEO of SET Pakistan. Mr. Muzammil Hussain, DevOps IoT R&D Lead from Punjab Group of Coaching as Chief of Research, Innovation and IT. She has several certifications under her belt, namely ISO 9001 and ISO 27001 in Information Security Management. Aisha, I would like to ask you that you led the project of rolling out teams across Kaya, a gigantic figure of 360,000 plus teachers on board O365. How was the experience?
First of all, thank you, Jameen, for such a pleasant and innovative environment where we all are here and to share our ideas and for collaboration purpose. So it's a big to you. Okay, now coming to our project that was with Microsoft, we have a flagship project that was single national curriculum. It has been started 6 months back when we actually met with the Microsoft team, and we have Tehmeen with us and Wakas with us, and started with a convincing campaign where we were producing how Microsoft. So ultimately, Microsoft came at par, and we planned an online training. That was the first online training that has been designed at government level. And it's worth mentioning over here that this was not for 10,000, 20,000, 40,000. No, it was about 3 lakh teachers. And these were our primary sector. When you say about our primary school teachers, and Alhamdulillah, we went it so well. Everybody came on Microsoft Teams, and we have conducted all our sessions, planning.
So Qaid was also looking for avenues and platforms where they could train their teaching body of 400,000 teachers across the board. And then also I would like to pitch in that you started off the single national curriculum trainings on Teams. So that was a big use case for Teams at that time, right?
Initially, we were planning. Actually, we were planning about the face-to-face mode. But when suddenly, due to the COVID situation, we were looking for something that how we can plan these things virtually. So we were moving around Zoom. That was on that time. Zoom was particularly using during our meetings, and we have some our off locations. We utilize the Zoom sessions, but we actually pay the cost for that. That's if we talked about if we were planning to have around 3,000 licenses of Zoom for this particular training. And when we estimated the cost, it was a huge amount. So ultimately, when we have an opportunity for utilizing the Microsoft services, then I think Teams did a absolutely fabulous job in that spectrum. Because there are few features which are actually lacking in Zoom as well. For example, you have a complete collaboration figure, you have some documents you can share on there, and you have some changes and amendments. Because when you are doing a training, it's a complete classroom. So Microsoft Team have a complete package of how the classrooms should look and what the features it has. So I think that was the big initiative, and I absolutely want to mention here the name of our Minister Saab, that is Dr. Murad Ras, and then our Director General Kai, that is Muhammad Ali Amir Saab, because this is something that comes from your leadership. They actually put us the confidence. Okay, go ahead, let's start these things and let's see what we can do so far. So Alhamdulillah, we achieved it in a very well manner.
And I think you have a very clear focus as an organization on the skilling part of it also, because recently, sometime back, I was in a conversation and in a conference also, and where Murad Rasab addressed, and they were looking for some 10,000 teachers to be skilled in Microsoft applications. Why that step? What took you there?
Actually, sometimes everything has to be started sometime, and I think it's a right time to get the technological awareness to all our teachers. So when we see the COVID situations and the setbacks we had so far, and during the last 2 to 3 years, everybody is facing. So we actually understand that how now technology has been empowered and how it can empower us, our teachers. So when we utilize the Microsoft Teams and the other products, so we are now thinking, and we have already decided about it, that we will also train our IT teachers on a Microsoft certification platform that will be aligned with, I think, Microsoft Imagine Academy. So we will not train, we want that our teachers should be professionally strong. They should know that how in classroom you can use these technological aids in teaching, and how you can improve your teaching practices, and how we can make all our education sector in an effective way. And one thing here I also want to add, that our Minister Saab is somehow very innovative, because everything is going to be digitized in our way. So we are keeping our learning management system, our digital education, and digital platform for our teachers. Now now the time is just to learn them how they can use these services as well. So for that particular level, we are introducing our new model, our new training program, that is 21st century skills, and Microsoft is part of us. And initially we have trained our lead trainers on it, and now we are training our master trainers. Things are have been in process. So ultimately, our all 360,000 teachers will be trained on all the IT services. They can know how we can operate our computer. They should know how we can write a letter. Either they are from a urban country, or either they are from the rural, and everybody. So when you say education for all, so same applies on teachers as well. So at any region you are, you should be aware of all these things. So meanwhile, we are coming on ways, and inshallah, you will get the things be processed and will be announced in a while.
Thank you so much, Aisha. बहुत shukriya. Thanks a lot. Um, Next, I'd like to invite from Sindh Education Foundation, Director Training, Ms. Shapara Rizvi. Shapara is responsible for the development of policy and protocols pertaining to teachers training and students assessment. She has been reviewing books and teachers' manuals in the light of students' learning outcomes of national curriculum. Some of her uphill tasks include supervising and administrating assessment of 200,000 students and dealing with 150 team members across all districts in Sindh. Now, please don't call me biased. I'm super happy to see this female majority in STEM in this panel discussion right now. Welcome, Shapara.
Thank you so
Training
much
has
for
changed
this lovely introduction.
drastically over the last couple of years, Assalamu alaikum, where things went out from, the very worst during the COVID. There are also some new opportunities, cost savings, and personal connections that we saw through remote and hybrid trainings. So please share your views around the new normal in professional development through Microsoft technology.
Thank you so much, Termeen, and thank you for having me today. Uh, so it started in 2018-19. We had, one of our EduDay's event in partnership with Microsoft. And that was the first time when actually Microsoft and SCF realized that there should be some intervention in the public sector because there was a vacuum and there was a need for some, collaboration at that scale and to bring not only employees of Sindh Education Foundation and the government of Sindh, but also to train the teachers, the educators, and partners. So as you know, the foundation's model is public-private partnership based, and we give our schools to the partners, and it is a per child subsidy model. So we were even before there was a complete lockdown in March 2020. We were about to launch an event where we would, give orientation to our employees and to cascade those trainings and then, to implement it in the schools. But due to the lockdown, we had to go online, and but we didn't give up. And the second and third phase was to, bring some of the teachers and students on Microsoft Teams because Microsoft had given us Office 365 A1 plan license under which we could, register our teachers, make their IDs, and so it was giving us a complete package in a way that we had a forum where we could conduct meetings, conduct trainings, and the form on Office 365 gave us this opportunity to conduct some kind of surveys or formative assessment. And there was a need to stay connected with the students because the management of SEF and our minister at that time, Mr. Ghani, they were of the view that we should, remain concerned about the well-being of our children, regardless if they are unable to come to the schools and teachers are not seeing them on the daily basis. But the challenge that was there, and it is still there today, is the connectivity issue and the percentage of the population in Pakistan and in Sindh that do not possess the Android phones. So definitely all these challenges are realities of life and nobody was prepared during the pandemic, even before the pandemic. So one of the ways was to remain connected at certain level, maybe some coordination at the district level through our offices, through our partners. So we generated some accounts of the teachers, gave them some trainings, and it was important in those days because the COVID SOPs and the syllabus that was later condensed could only be taught to the teachers through these platforms. And then we also switched from the private other email IDs and platforms to one central platform, that is Office 365. We are now across the board using of Outlook for our emails, and then all our meetings, presentations, everything is on Team. So personally, when I go in the field and we talk to the teachers, we tell them about how technology is helping them. So it is not a barrier to create it, or we are not trying to replace the teachers, and all those things that teachers already know, they can add value if they use those skills with the help of these technology. So when we started making some subject-wise groups on Teams, and then school-wise groups, we came to know that teachers are also now interacting because everybody was working in silos, but now they have a platform. So in that sense, in Education Foundation was the first foundation in Pakistan in the public sector to initiate Microsoft. At that time, people were not willing to embrace change because there was no R&D conducted as per universal rules, and there was no preparedness. Whenever you launch something new, you have to make sure that people are ready to accept that change. But we didn't get time at all because we were supposed to go in the phases, and all of a sudden we were stuck, and then we had to continue what we had planned to. Overall, all our training manuals and everything, we have posted them on the teams, and the teachers have access. And luckily, during last 7-8 years, SEF had its own videos made for 3 or 4 subjects, but that was only for the primary grades, and that was for English, Math, Science, from grade 1 to 5. We have also given access to the people who are teaching these subjects, to the subject teachers, to the head teachers. But under the A1 plan now, we are trying to bring them on one forum. So even with the help of Microsoft, your team, Temi, we have brought our website also on the Microsoft team. So the link of website and the interactive things are there on the Microsoft team. The number is not very large. We don't have in lakhs, but in foundation we have 20,000 teachers and more than 10,000 students who have been enrolled. But across the board, all our offices officially they are required to use Microsoft instead of their personal WhatsApps and everything. The presentations that we are making, all the designs and everything, our teachers find it very convenient to use all these tools which they were already using maybe, but after using the options like live presentation, recording, they are sending us videos regularly. Immersive reader is a blessing, and now immersive
Yes,
reader
it
is
is.
also
Yeah.
it has also translation into Urdu. So those people, our schools are located in far-flung areas, in rural areas. We encourage them to use the documents. Even when I have problems multitasking, I just put it on my documents on immersive reader, and I keep listening to that and see if there's a variation. I put it into Urdu translation. I've not checked if Hindi, if there's Hindi or not. And then
Yes.
OneNote, of course, we are putting our presentations because my training unit team is a bit, forward-looking, and they always accept change without any reluctance. So they put all the presentations and everything on OneNote. These days we are having assessment activities, and then on the other hand, we're also observing schools, going inside the classrooms and monitoring or observing, actually not monitoring, 150 schools. So we are using technology to coordinate, to improve, to save time. Physical environment and meetings are now minimized. So all these apps and all these softwares are enabling us to work more efficiently. So being the first organization to opt for it, to think outside the box, we are still not 100% able to bring all our teachers and students because of the network issue all the time. There is a cable problem, and there is no Wi-Fi available, so people do get reluctant, and every time there is an issue, an online meeting, people propose to go for the physical environment. But yes, there is a dent, and it has to go forward, upscale it, which is our plans in the days to come. Recently, we have started our head teachers training for more than 2,500 head teachers. And in those sessions, we do have in our manual that we should go for blended learning, find alternate pathways, whatever they are comfortable in. But at least, they should opt for it because it is not a very expensive solution to go for. We are not asking everybody to wear, hardware, but the channels available on, one click in one A1 plan that we got in Office 365. It is so convenient, and it is very convenient to use. Lastly, I'll just give you one example because I'm also looking after assessment, and we day and night we just multitask. The other day I got a message on my mobile that I have 5 unread emails, and I was so surprised to see, and I was enjoying like anything that when I clicked it, it was sharing the details of the sender, where these emails was being sent, and the message it read out to me, and I was just drinking my coffee, and then it was asking the voice, it was asking how to respond to it. So what more do you need in AI? What more do you need? I mean, it is making life so easier and simpler. So if there's an understanding that technology is only there to support us, not to replace us, it is going to make our performance better, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you. I 100% agree to it. Initially, there was a very strong, hindrance because teachers used to think that it is probably, yeah, that this system, the remote and hybrid learning is going to replace them. Halaki, that's not true. It is going to make their life more convenient. I was just listening to Mr. Faisal Mushtaq's interview right now just before you guys came in, and this is exactly what he said, that it is actually going to enable teachers to work more efficiently across regions. You can connect with teachers across the board in different countries of the world, in different regions. Your MIE program with the teachers is a great example of interaction with different teachers in different countries and different students of the same grades. So it's super happening. And yes, the insights, the emails that I get also, the other day I received a reminder that you have to respond to Mr. Waqas Shafiq's email, and you committed to respond to him on Monday. And I was like, I did? Okay, let me just get back to it. So it is super fascinating. We are living in a dream world now. This is the dream that we dreamt of long time back, and it's happening. So thank you so much, Shapara, for all your input and for all the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Now, finally, from Punjab Group of Colleges, we have Mr. Muzammil Hussain. Muzammil Hussain has an experience of 12 years from being a core C# developer to leading, designing, and implementing software. He has achieved rare benchmarks like leveraging the power of Azure to host one of South Asia's largest video learning system on Azure, which is encrypted with DRM as well. He leads the IoT, energy and e-learning systems at Punjab Group of Colleges. Muzammil, we are really interested in knowing how through Microsoft Cloud Technologies, the impact of COVID was managed and learning was resumed throughout this time. And what are the future plans around cloud initiatives? Ji Muzammil.
Sure. Thank you, Diamond, for inviting me today. I think my screen is being presented. I'm
Yes, we
not
can
sure
see it.
if you can. Okay, that's
Yes,
good.
we can.
Just moving ahead, I will divide my conversation today into three parts: pre-COVID, during COVID, and post-COVID. I am more interested on talking about post-COVID hybrid learning systems, which we are developing right now at Punjab Group, and our massive schools network which we have. Before COVID, we were only using the Azure 365, Office 365, and some of the services which were for running the websites and other things. As soon as the COVID hit us, we saw that the Pakistani data centers were unable to hold such a large data for video and everything. So we started moving all of our videos and everything on the Microsoft Azure. We have to use the world technologies like Akamai, which is used by Netflix. We were even larger than the which is worth mentioning that the video content we broadcasted was larger than the FIFA World Cup as well. We over surpassed it in the video streaming systems, and it was freely available to everyone. Moving ahead, we have to use the newest technologies provided by the Microsoft, like DRM, content management system, and many others, so that we can have a very clear understanding of how the video can be used and can be transmitted to the users. And it was just a hassle-free process. Being a core technical guy, I felt it very easy to move everything over the Microsoft Azure and just broadcast it to the user. I will be talking about the post-COVID hybrid learning system on which we are working right now with the help of Microsoft. I will divide it into the five smaller parts. As Ms. Shapara was telling about the AI and the cognitive services, I think the Pakistan market lacks the cognitive services implementations in its real terms. We at Punjab Group, we have a big department which is only in participating in implementing new things, inventing new things, and doing new things. So we started using the, I call this era the era of cognitive services. So what we did was we used the Microsoft Azure's ML and behavior analysis systems, and the results were super for us. So what we did was we gave children of school level to the college level to the university level some very simple questions like surveys or anything like that. All that data was pushed back to the Microsoft cloud, and it ran over the machine learning algorithms to predict, not only analyze, but to predict what kind of student is this, what is his interest, is he sad or he's happy at school. Everything which a teacher should do is available on our dashboards for all the 10 lakh students which we are teaching. The Azure's mixed reality systems are something which I think all the educators and teachers out there should think about, like Microsoft Holo, the mixed reality thing. Like I was teaching my daughter using an AR system, which was I was astonished to see that how cheap it can be built. Like you have a simple phone with you, you have a book. Uh, there is a horse printed on the book. Use the Microsoft Azure, use your phone and show the horse to the phone and just start pointing your phone over the wall or a floor. Now your kid is seeing how an essay on horse can be written. Like I am a horse, I have 4 legs, and it is already animated for you so that the kid have a very clear understanding how things work. Like there's a dinosaur, there's a chemical reaction, everything is happening inside in front of their eyes. You just have to show the book to your phone and let the Microsoft do the magic. Moving ahead, there is a being a technical guy, I would like to talk about the Microsoft data lakes and serverless applications. All the infrastructure and environment in Pakistan is working on the the physical servers and virtual machines and websites. The real part of Azure gave us is the serverless applications. Let's say we all see that the cost is a very important factor for the education resource institutes. When we move to the serverless applications, let's say your teachers and students are working 6 days a day, 7 hours a day. Now, when they are doing that, if you have a serverless application, it start making a duplication of itself and it start moving up. It's on its peak. You let the load come from the whole world. It works. Now, when everyone it is holiday and everyone goes home, that server goes back to the zero. No cost being incurred. This was something very astonishing for us, for a huge user base which we have. On the fourth point, it is coming for the Azure application gateways and front doors. When you are using the colleges and universities, you are not only teaching the students from Pakistan. Even outside Pakistan, students are coming, and the Pakistan. And when you are talking about someone from the whole of the world audience, like Saudi, like UAE, Dubai, there are many students Pakistani origin who are staying there with their parents due to COVID and studying from there. Now, if we use the Azure application gateways and front doors, it makes it super easy for them to connect to the system. Microsoft copies the data for them in the Dubai region, so they can have a hassle-free connection. Instead of using a long route to the Pakistan, Dubai to Singapore, then to Pakistan, they can have a very convenient route in the Dubai regions. The most astonishing part for me, I don't know if everyone has seen the Ender's Game. It's one of my favorite movies, in which a kid is fighting an alien invasion. There is a game that kid is playing. That game fascinated me a lot of times and for a long time. So what I did was I started working with Azure, so that can we do something like that, that a mouse is asking a kid to drink a cup full of poison, and what did the kid do? So what we did was we implemented the Microsoft Minecraft Earth inside the organization and the environment of my PGC and the whole new virtual world for them, and connected that thing to Azure Cosmos DB. So we made a real life Ender's Game. So we gave the kids to play the game, and how he plays the game, let us know that what these kids want. This was something very astonishing for us and all the educators out there, I think. And we even prepared some free resources which PGC is giving for all of the students out in Pakistan. We name it Prep by PGC. You can open it on Google. It's a free metric preparation by PGC for all the students out there. There is something for young kids. We call it EL for allied schools. You can Google it, and it is freely available to everyone out there. So this is all from my side. Thank you, Tahmin, for inviting me today.
Okay, another dynamic female on board, Miss Sonia Salim. Sonia Salim is the Chief Executive Officer, founder of Socio-Engineering Technology, SET Pakistan and SET UAE. She has done MSc in Strategic Project Planning and Management from Heriot Ward University, Edinburgh, Scotland, and a fellowship in Strategic Project Marketing and Management from Harvard University. My question from you, Sonia, is that what are your views around partners leveraging digital learning? What changes you've experienced lately and how skilling has become a priority?
Thank you so much, Naveen, and thank you, everyone. It's really good to see you all. I think we met a few of them. I met, and few of them I'm just getting introduction now. So hello, and about social engineering technologies, it looks very small to me because I'm actually playing the role of bridge between Microsoft and the my customers. So customers means partners, which we make. It's the socio engineering technologies having international brand. We are bringing the innovative solutions like edutech. You can talk about it like hardware and software. We are selling it in the market starting. I mean, it's been 2 decades that we are in the market. But the thing is, I won't say the IT thing because IT is just the part of whole education concept. So education we need to focus on. But I mean, there are so many things Muzammil has mentioned. Shapara was telling us, like big names, Minecraft and stuff. So we actually need to focus on our students. Before that, I would say teachers need to be trained. What we have done, we have basically trained the teachers. We usually bring any brands, especially Microsoft. It's been ages we are working as a strategic partner, and we are helping each other and exploring different organizations. So we actually brought this concept of training the teachers. Like it's not us who has brought this concept. Obviously TOT is already in the market, it's the government thing, and private sector is only helping them to promote it. And but the transformation of education, which is important, but through technology. So that's what we do. We are looking around for the international brands. There are many brands like skill. What is skill? Like you have mentioned, you were asking Tabeen about the skilling. Skill is basically, it's not like GC and we help them, my team is actually round the clock working with them. But the thing is, before COVID, there was a gap. It was very hard for us because we are in this market. It's been ages we are working. Microsoft is helping and we are going, and we are knocking the doors, but people were not realizing. But after COVID, I won't say that COVID was a brilliant thing, but yeah, we were suffering obviously. But COVID basically brought something, the awareness. Now teachers are very confident. Now students, they want to work. It's not technology has advantages and disadvantages, but we are talking about the advantages here because skill is really important. If you are in the university, you're in the school, the student, like they're graduates, they come to me and they, I start interviewing because I'm hiring employees. Like I need people to help me. So when I talk to them, they hardly know about their content. They don't know anything about what they have studied. A software engineer was sitting in front of me from a university. I won't take the name of the university here, and he couldn't answer a single question. He was not confident. So communication skill. We have ideas. Our students are brilliant. If I compare it with any country, our students from these rural areas especially, they're brilliant. We need to promote them. We need to equip them with the skills. We
I would
talk
just
about
like
skills and
to, pitch in here, Sonia. I would just like to say that you have said something which is true to my heart also, because I understand that when employers like the telecommunication industry, they hire people. I've been a part of the telecom industry as well. And there are people who would sit in front of you and they would tell you that they know Excel, blah, blah, blah. And finally you hire them because at that time, like a decade back, there was hardly that kind of consciousness where you could validate certificate whether he exactly knows the skill set or not, whether he has a skill set or not,
Yeah.
and you would hire a person. And when the actual time comes to deliver, he's unable to deliver. So
That's
all
right.
these certifications that you guys at SET are basically associated with, from MOS to MTA to fundamentals to whatnot, all these certifications give you a validation that if I, as a recruiter, am looking at somebody's validation that yes, this person has done MOS, for example, then I can go at the back end, check as well, look at the results and verify, okay, yes, this is a capable person and he will be able to manage the job. So this is
right.
very important now. Things have become easier because now you have a record and you can check whether the person sitting in front of you has the exact capability that he's mentioned on the resume or not.
Yes, and it's a need of art, I mean. And secondly, we actually we are providing the turnkey solution. Whenever we go meet customers, especially government sector, which should play a very good role in that, but they are little bit reluctant. In maybe after some time they will realize it, because people are not getting jobs. Why they are not getting jobs? You rightly mentioned that they need a certificate, to show it, even getting job in our country or outside country. They first thing first, if you have a certificate of any skills, then you're hired. Otherwise they throw your CV in the dustbin. They will not even give you a second chance. But if you want to be a successful person, you need to understand what you are talking about. This is how we are helping people, and we actually want Microsoft and our government sector, private sector to come along, and we can achieve some skill related activities in the market. We have started it, and so far we are successful. And people, they actually call us now, like universities especially. Private sector, yes. Universities, we need, especially the graduates, the fresh graduates. We need our teachers, our students. They, as soon as they get out of the their institute, they should be doing something. Maybe during their studies, like what is that? This is graphic designing, if they know, coding, if they know. So everything, it's in the basket. Microsoft is providing this basket, and I think we should get this opportunity for whole Pakistan, I would say. I wish and pray,
Thank you so
obviously.
much. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for sharing all this. I would like to conclude here. I would just like to say that it's just like getting a brand new high-tech phone. Microsoft, yes, facilitates you with licenses. It facilitates you with training. Until and unless you do not explore your phone, all that you would be doing would be just receiving a call and making a call. There is a plethora of activities that you can do. Same goes for whatever is provided to the students and the teachers, the kind of boot camps we go through, the kind of training sessions we go through with the partner. It's a partner-led model in Pakistan. So we need to make sure that providing a simple license and access to a license to a teacher is not enough, to a student is not enough. You need to empower that teacher. You need to empower that student in that technology to make sure that it's efficiently utilized and eventually the knowledge transfer happens successfully. Thank you so much, everyone, for all your support here, for all your input. It has really made our day. It was an exuberant interaction. I'd like to hand over the conversation now to our country manager, Microsoft, Mr. Shehzad Khan, to close this event.
Hello and good evening. It is amazing to see so many customers and partners of Microsoft from all across Pakistan participated in the event today. I'd like to thank Mr. Murad Ras, Minister of Education for Punjab, and Mr. Ibrahim Yusri, Regional General Manager for Microsoft, for endorsing the event with their presence. I would also like to thank all of the speakers for sharing their valuable experiences and insights. It has really been heartening to see that schools, colleges, and universities, hand in hand with Microsoft and the government, have not only managed to successfully deal with COVID, but effectively leverage remote and hybrid learning tools and applications from Microsoft to help them learn even better than before. We have learned, especially during this time, that students want to use technology. When students use tablets, laptops, widgets, and online tools of all kinds of digital devices, technology provides a path of learning that students are eager to follow. Why ask them to unplug at their school door? Technology is its own assessment tool. And to paraphrase James Paul Gee, a professor of literacy studies at Arizona State University, when students use simulations, games, videos to learn, they have to problem solve, critically think, and transfer knowledge from other learning experiences. And that indeed is a great thing for learning. Learning with technology is connected. In a connected, technology-rich environment, students engage with peers, teachers, and experts worldwide. They like to do that, and no wonder social media is so viral. With the COVID-19 challenge at hand, it was fascinating to see how Pakistan instantly adapted to the new technology at hand and devised strategies, resources, and solutions to quickly create online classrooms that help students, teachers, and faculty find new ways to connect and learn. We at Microsoft are incredibly inspired by educators, students, and their families navigating remote learning and planning for what is to come. We recognize and celebrate you as heroes, and we are committed to learning from your accomplishments and creating new technology to meet your needs. Here, I'd like to thank you again for your fantastic participation in the event today.